Forbidden Paths, Book 1 of the Paths Trilogy by Rod Mortin. Read for you by the author. Chapter 1. Escape. Shauna grabbed her pack and ran to the back door. Aya, with the face of a kindly grandmother, but the voice of a staff sergeant, had said to run, so Shauna would run. Shauna paused for just a moment inside the back door. Her mind raced as she reviewed the many practice drills that she had endured at her father's insistence. Markin, her father, had always wanted a son. Built like a brick, yet with intelligence and the grace of a dancer, Markin excelled in the hunt and in combat. He had won the affection of his people by his skills, but even more by his fairness, and, if one dared speak plainly, the mercy he extended to all, even those he defeated. He longed for a son to train in his place, but when the mother of life had graced him with a daughter, he did not delay his plans to prepare his heir as a leader within the Mila Tanari tribe. Now was not the time for reflection. It was the time to apply the discipline and self-reliance that Markin had drummed into her. Shauna swiftly ran to the cupboard beside the larder. She reached inside and grabbed the survival pack. It looked ordinary, rough brown, with shoulder straps and soft ties for closing compartments. Nothing metal, nothing that would make a sound. But the pack was far from ordinary. The material was mottled in shades of brown and black and green, colored to blend in with the natural background. Her father had spent many hours showing her how to prepare it. It was also treated with the special oil from the tureen tree, making it resistant to rain or snow. He had told her that the patterned appearance was a feature of those that the ancestors had brought with them from far away. No one alive remembered why the patterns were used, except that it blended with the shadows and the hues of the forest. It was said that those first travelers to her land had special clothes, packs, and even strange machines that were impervious to mold or decay. Their belongings had lasted for generations, but that was ages ago, and every piece had long ago become just another bit of dust in the land. Only the old stories, passed from generation to generation, held any clue about who the ancestors were, or where they came from. But the pack that Shauna now retrieved was made according to one of the ancient designs said to have been handed down from a time in the distant mist of tribal history. The contents of Shauna's pack could last for weeks if she was careful. Markin had insisted that the contents were refreshed on a regular basis so that the pack was ready for any emergency. Shauna still remembered being required to eat moldy dried fruits as a lesson to help her remember to be more careful when drying them long enough. The pack also contained lightweight items needed for survival: a line and hook for fishing, a bowl for cooking, eating, and washing, a water skin, a needle, and thread. Unless the pack was light enough to carry quickly out of harm's way, the contents might not matter. Shauna remembered her father's words as she ran with the survival pack. The unforeseen will always happen. While you must be decisive in the face of crisis, you must not be too hasty. Fleeing to safety without a means of surviving the elements just creates one more crisis to overcome. You must think quickly as well as act quickly. Runan, the man who now pursued her, was big, brutish, and slow. His physical size had been his weapon of choice as he bullied his way up through the ranks of her people. Her father hadn't given Runan even a passing thought, knowing that Runan had cowardice at his core like every bully. Tall, with broad shoulders, coarse features, and a rough beard, he intimidated many on the council. She still remembered the time he tried to push his will onto her father. Runan had made the mistake of looming over her father, attempting to intimidate by his size. Her father had simply grabbed him by the beard and jerked his head down. Already over-centered by his attempt at menace, he fell down into the dirt, very near a pile of animal dung. Her father had merely looked down at him and said, "I'll have to practice that move and improve my aim." Runan had skulked away, nursing a not-so-secret hatred for Markin. Runan was not a man to forget an insult. He was the kind of man that her father purposely chose to pass over when doling out
Sample complete. Ready to continue?